For the topic of abortion, I consider myself a 0. I consider myself a 0 for abortion because I think it's really wrong for the government to tell the people what to do with their own body. I believe if it's their body, it's their life, they should be able to make their own choices, so I am definitely pro-choice. When it comes to taking measures to save our environment, I consider myself a 6. I consider myself a 6 for the environment because I don't really see the reason why it should be mandated for all of us to recycle and to do everything else, but I also think it should be highly encouraged to do everything we can to help the environment. For helmet laws, I consider myself an 8. I consider myself an 8 because I don't think the government should tell people basically what to do. Kind of the same views as abortion. It's their life, their body. If they choose not to wear a helmet, then that should be up to them. For censorship, I consider myself a 4. I consider myself a 4 for censorship because I feel like that's the government getting way too involved in our lives. I don't really think it's any of their business what we're watching on TV or what we're doing on computer and stuff like that. But also when it comes to children, that's when I feel like we should censor some things, because especially nowadays ads on the computer and TV are getting more inappropriate and more public. So for the children, I feel like we should have a little bit of censorship, but other than that, the government is a little too involved. When it comes to prayer in school, I consider myself a 6. I consider myself a 6 because I think praying at school is very inappropriate because there are so many different religions and so many things other people believe in, so I feel like doing one prayer for one religion is very offensive to those other people and their beliefs. But I also think that praying at graduation or having a moment of silence is appropriate to have at the appropriate time. On the topic of the Iraq War, I consider myself a 3. I consider myself a 3 because I think it was a big mistake that we went to Iraq in the first place, and I don't really understand the point of why we went there, but I also agree that it's better to finish what we started than to leave it off on bad terms. I consider myself a 9 for capital punishment. I consider myself a 9 because if someone is really going to go all out to kill someone or multiple people, then they should be punished in the same way that they killed that person. I think it's only fair, and if they're going to go and make a mistake like that, then they should be able to have the same punishment. When it comes to illegal immigration, I consider myself a 10. I consider myself a 10 because I think it's really unfair for the Americans because these illegal immigrants come into our country, take our homes and our jobs, and I think that's just really unfair. Like, we don't go barging into their country taking what little they have, so I don't think they should be doing it to us. When it comes to legalizing marijuana, I am a 1. I consider myself a 1 because I don't really think there's anything wrong with marijuana. Like, they use it for cancers and other types of disorders and diseases, and I also believe that it would help keep our crime rates down, and it could also help our economy if we put like a tax on it. So overall, I just don't think there would be anything wrong with legalizing marijuana. When it comes to universal health care, I consider myself a 9. I consider myself a 9 because I think it's really wrong for all of us, the taxpayers, have to pay for everyone else's health care, especially for those people that smoke or do something else that ruin their health. We have to pay for their health care when they're the ones ruining their own health. I just think it's really unfair. So I believe if people want healthcare, then they should be able to come up with the money to pay for it themselves. It shouldn't be everyone else's responsibility. This political cartoon is about gun control, and in this picture it is showing two hands, one of the hands saying gun control laws and the other hand saying psychos. The hand saying gun control laws, it is shaping his hand like a gun, and in the psycho's hand it's showing a real gun. I believe the author of this cartoon made it kind of funny, but then again it is a very serious topic and it's showing a lot of truth to gun control. This cartoon is basically saying that the psychos, or just the people in general, have way more power than the actual gun control laws, and that I agree with this political cartoon so much because I believe that our gun control laws, there basically is none. So I believe we need to fix our laws on gun control. This political cartoon is on pornography. In this political cartoon, it is showing a younger boy sitting on the computer with an older man standing right behind him. And the older man is saying to the younger boy is, "Your generation has it so easy. When I was a lad, we had to forage into the woods for scraps of discarded porn." So basically what this author is saying is, in now's generation, it is so easy to find pornography, especially for younger people. And I completely agree what this author is saying. I feel like people have it way too easy these days, and especially when it comes to younger kids. Like, if I had kids, I would not want them to be so exposed to it. So I feel like nowadays it should be more controlled, especially since younger and younger people are finding it and getting access to it because it is so easy to get to. This political cartoon is on affirmative action. In this cartoon, it is showing a whiter looking man at the very top of a mountain and a black man at the bottom of the mountain, and the white man is saying, "Hey, no cheating," to the black man, which is standing on a box that represents affirmative action. The message the author is giving of this cartoon is that affirmative action isn't fair, that it's only cheating. I completely agree with this cartoon of what the white man is saying. I think affirmative action really is just cheating. I don't really think blacks or other minorities should have reserved for them in a job when it's not depending on like their test scores or anything like that. So I believe that the only fair way is to not have affirmative action when it comes to getting a job. This political cartoon is dealing with the military. And in this cartoon, it is showing a tiny car that is labeled economy and a huge airplane labeled military spending. Kind of looks like the military spending is kind of dragging our economy along. What I believe the author is trying to say in this cartoon is the military spending is way too big of a thing for our economy at this time. And that it's also a very big and powerful thing that a lot of our money is going towards right now, since it's comparing a huge airplane to a tiny car. I agree with this cartoon because I don't really think military spending is necessary, or maybe just not as much of it. Like showing in this cartoon, the military spending shouldn't be as big as an airplane. I think it should be about the same as our economy and as the same as what we can afford right now. So I completely agree with what the author is saying in this cartoon, that the military spending is way over our heads. This political cartoon is dealing with a gay marriage. In this political cartoon, it is showing two males getting married, and the priest is saying to them, "And do you think Obama will be remembered for more than being African American?" And the males are both saying, "I do." So basically what this cartoon is saying is thanks to Obama and potentially others that finally gay marriage can be an okay thing. And for the ultimate message of this cartoon, I agree with. I think gay marriage should be legal. I don't really think it's that big of a deal that everyone makes it out to be. I believe everyone deserves to be happy if they're gay, straight, or lesbian or anything like that. They deserve to live their life how they want to. They deserve to be happy, so I think we should let them. For my overall number, I consider myself a 6. For my overall number, I consider myself a 6 because I can see how liberals think and how conservatives think, and I can agree and disagree with both sides, but I also lean more towards conservative thinking. I was a little surprised with this number because from a bunch of quizzes that I took online and stuff like that, it said I was like a Democrat or a liberal, but also I always considered myself a moderate. Compared to my parents, I am a little different since both my mom and dad are very, very strong Republicans, and to be perfectly honest, my mom was a little upset when I told her some of my views on things, but overall they don't really mind what I believe in since they are my own beliefs and not theirs. What I realized by doing this project is I no longer have to call myself a Republican just because my parents say I should be. I discovered my own beliefs and my stand on things, and I finally figured out where I stand politically, which is also a very important thing to know, especially in the future when it comes to voting and stuff like that.